Hey friends, before I dive into this episode, I just want to say a couple things about it. There is an irony in having a podcast called Gather, Connect, Create, and doing all my interviews via Zoom, very much not in the same space with the people I'm talking to or in the same spirit of what I'm trying to do with the podcast. So in today's episode, I am actually in my friend Holly's living room, which means I brought my own microphones with me, which also means I'm learning myself and teaching myself the techniques of how to do this, how to set it up and how to do these in-person interviews, which is so much fun because it's such a different experience to be in the same room. But you might hear a few things in the background that I might otherwise be able to cut away on the Zoom tracks. So you might hear her cats walk in, you might hear us brush up against the microphones every once in a while, but I feel like we captured the essence of what I wanted to have listeners take away from this interview, and that is the beautiful gift of music, which is why when we start this episode, we dive right into a song. And I will get to Holly's intro a little way through the song, but I hope you enjoy that we just dive right into song. Welcome back to Gather, Connect, Create, the podcast where we talk all about how to do just that with your people wherever you are. My name is Megan Schultz, and today on the show, I am so excited to introduce you to a friend of mine, Holly Haebig, who connects and creates and gathers people around music, around song, and who uses her voice as an instrument to help others connect with their voice. All right, I'm ready. All right, Holly, tell me about this song.
This song is called Finding Our Way, and it's really special to me because I was in a particularly lost place. I think I was sort of triggered by holiday stress, and we were up north and kind of cooped up, and I don't know, I was in the middle of some transitions, and I took it to the woods. And I went walking, and I could not find my way through my headspace that was kind of holding me down. And I felt tangled up in a lot of negative, scary thoughts. And so I started finding a beat with my feet, and then this song came to mind. So that's all I'll say about that.
Right, sing it, sister.
But the fun thing about this is that the structure is such that when I'm singing with people, they could insert meaningful words like love or trust or light, and you'll get the feeling of it. But we chose music and love, courage, friendship, and peace. So you'll get the hang of it if our listeners want to join in or hum.
Sing along in your cars or on your walks or doing the dishes, whatever you're doing out there.
I really don't believe in wrong notes. We are finding our way, we are finding our way, finding our way back home. With music by our side, we are finding our stride, finding our way back home.
This is my friend Holly Haebig. She is a beautiful singer and musician. She's a teacher in MPS and occupational therapist in our schools. She is a vocal coach. In fact, she was my vocal coach. She is the musical director of the Milwaukee Peacemaker Camp in the summers. And she is someone for whom music comes straight from the heart. And she sings and dances and plays with people of all ages so joyfully and so profoundly. And indeed, if as you're listening to this interview, her voice sounds familiar, it might be because you've seen her. She has been, over the past 20 years, playing regularly with bands like One Drum, Kirtan with Ragani, Devanation, Painted Caves, De La Buena, Urban Empress and The Urbanites, The Earth Poets and Musicians, Yourself Milwaukee, and a popular duo with her brother-in-law, Jeff Bray, at the farmers markets. Music is an intrinsic part of who Holly is and what she brings to the world, and I am so excited to dive into this conversation so that you can see and hopefully take away some ideas of how you too might be able to use music as a way to gather and connect your people. But before that, we will finish out this song.
Finding a way, finding a way, finding a way back home. Courage. We are finding a way, we are finding a way, finding a way back home. With courage by our side, we are finding our stride, finding a way back. Yes, we are finding a way back home. Finding our way back home. Yeah. We haven't done that in a couple years.
It's been a while.
Hey,
I love that song. I have to tell you, I don't know if I ever told you this story, but the first time I ever heard this song, I was sitting in the balcony at the Riverside, and you were on stage in this huge space. Meditate Milwaukee had called, and it was on January 1st. It was a New Year's Day meditation, and it was the most incredible experience because as you heard, listeners, this is a sing-along, or it can be a sing-along. And so you told us that story and you started singing, and like by the second verse, the whole audience was singing with it. And it was so powerful to experience that in a community, you know? And I think that is, wow, I'm glad you chose that song to start with, because what a way to describe who you are and what you do, because I really see you as a consummate connector and a gatherer through music. Like, I think this is who you are. And what you bring to the world. And I see that you connect people to each other through music and to themselves. Like, you really help people to find their voice and their courage and their who they are through music. And I love that about you. So I'm so happy you are here to talk to me all about this.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And I guess I wonder if you could, I know that music is such a core part of who you are. And, you know, I talked about that in the introduction. So I know that music is a huge part of who you are. And I wonder if you can just remember, like, what is your musical background history? Like, what's the first time you connected to music?
Yeah. So music has always helped me make sense of the world and why I'm here. And it's always made me feel like I have purpose and that I have a reason to be here in this way. Academics were never a strong suit for me. I didn't read a lot when I was a kid, but music, I remember, before I remember anything else, singing with, like, my favorite bands in the 80s were like Duran Duran. I mean, I liked a lot of different, but I was definitely an 80s music kid. Cyndi Lauper, Madonna. I could go on about that, but I remember always being able to sing harmonies and just sing. And I could remember lyrics. I could never remember other stuff in school. I did fine in school, but music, anything connected to a song. I remember 50 Nifty United States. I could rattle off all the states in alphabetical order. Music always helped me feel like I belong and that I had something to give. And it made me feel smart. It made me feel capable. It was my language. Music is the language that makes the most sense to me. And I know that is true for other people, whether they know it. Yeah. I think that's part of why I'm here, is to help remind people that music is as valuable a language as any other language.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember who was your first? Was it your mom or dad?
Yeah. So my dad was always singing, but I didn't live with my dad. My parents split up when I was young, but he always stayed really present in my life. even when he moved to Kansas, he got a really good teaching job and he just needed to get out of Milwaukee. But he was always singing, always singing. He had a pile of 3x5 index cards he would take out of his, shirt pocket, and he would lead sing-alongs wherever he was. In the car, hey, you want to sing this song? Blue sky smiling at me, all these different songs. And so that was always there. My mother and my stepfather were really big Willie Nelson, Dylan fans, but I don't remember the music being in the house per se. I was always drawn to music, but it was really the blessing of some incredible Milwaukee public schools and fully loaded arts packages, that, some exist now and some don't at all, which is a tremendous shame. But I went to Golda Meir for elementary school. There was an amazing choir teacher. And then I also, Cheryl Granatella. See, I remember all this stuff because this is so impactful. I remember every song we sang. I remember the parts that I sang. And then I started playing flute as well. And then middle school, I went to Samuel Morris, and Patricia Monroe, who I have befriended again. I had to find her because she is still around, the coolest woman I ever met. In the way she dressed and presented herself. She was such a baddie. And she had us sing some really amazing music with movements and stuff. And it just probably helped me survive middle school. And then I went to High School of the Arts, and I focused a little more, really a lot more on flute, amazing Mr. Watson and Mr. Chadwick, like just incredible music programs. And then flute choir through MISO. Music carried me through school. And I am sure that it just, again, if I didn't play sports, I do wish I would have sort of had that language in my body as well. But both my parents had polio, and sports just was not really an option for them as much. And we just didn't talk about it. So music was also it was just part of my everyday life, along with dance. I mean, dance is a whole nother piece of what keeps me feeling like I belong and I'm valuable as well, moving my body. But yeah, I was really lucky to be in amazing schools with amazing music programs.
Yeah.
Go MPS.
Yes.
Or wherever it is. I'm not attached to anything, just keeping it going.
Yeah. Well, and now full circle, because you're back in those MPS schools.
I am.
How are you bringing music there, or are you?
Yeah, so I'm an occupational therapist at Genslin. And so there's lots of ways to bring rhythm and some music. Of course, you can carry your voice with you wherever you go. And I feel like expression, singing is one thing, but how you talk to people and how, I work with a lot of children who express themselves with languages that are not directly understood by most people, but they are talking. They are expressing themselves through sounds and, through their devices, these beautiful children have different, tablets and ways to express themselves. But, I'm still trying to figure out how to bring more of my expressive self into a somewhat more structured school system. This is my third year doing that. But historically, I mean, shout out to Express Yourself Milwaukee. I was there for about 16 years with tons of other artists doing multi-arts expression, therapeutic-based arts expression. That's like a whole nother podcast. Peace camp. I mean, I always have music cooking my vocal students, but I just try to be open and creative to what might be emerging. And I just like to cheerlead people to not be afraid to express themselves.
Yes.
Because I know that it's basically saved my life.
Yeah.
Over and over again.
Well, and when I was saying I was at that show that you put on at the Riverside, that was right before I knew that we had just connected, because your brother-in-law had posted on Facebook that you were offering voice lessons, and serendipitously my word of the year for that coming year was voice. So I was like, I gotta get in touch with this lady. And so I knew that we were going to connect, but we hadn't actually met in person at that point. And then we started lessons, which was singing together. And you have a way of just like breathing confidence into the people that you are around. Like every time after you left, I was like, oh, oh my God, maybe I could do this. You know, you're just the biggest cheerleader, the biggest supporter, but also modeling that confidence that I feel like you bring with you everywhere you go. I don't know if it feels like that all the time. I'm sure it doesn't, because we all have our things, but it feels like you just exude a confidence with your voice, which I think is beautiful.
Well, thank you. I want to say that there's a beautiful irony to that, because I'm turning 50 plus one soon this year.
Shout out to the 50s.
But I can say with confidence and trust in the process that I lived in fear of expression well into my 20s. I could breathe life into my flute, but the flute was telling the story. I could stand amongst a choir of people and feel safe, but I would never step out in front as a soloist or audition for anything. I was terrified. I was terrified to breathe and open my mouth alone. And it was, give thanks. Yames Tony Finlayson, who is amongst the stars, flying free, who I connected with in my mid-20s. He was in a band called Clamnation and One Drum, and I became a big fan. And he saw something in me. And I know a lot of people can relate to this. Those who knew him, he did this just totally naturally for a lot of people. If you were so lucky, you know, to know him, he saw something in me and kept saying, yes, you can. Oh, you play flute? Oh, you should totally come sit in with One Drum. Oh, you're a singer? Yeah, you can come, you know, learn Sri Lankan and sing and Yoruba and like just hang, you know, come hang with us. And, you know, he helped kickstart this journey along with one of my favorite people, Ragani. There's this point in my mid-20s where I literally, and I don't pray often per se, I feel my life is kind of a living prayer, but I was so desperately seeking freedom of self. And I prayed to God to help me get over my fear, because I was locked. And I met Ragani and started playing with the Kirtan. It was totally uncomfortable. And then I met Yames and I joined One Drum, and I had night terrors, people. For months. My point is, I know fear. I know what it feels like to be locked in your body and your breath. And I think that's why now, 20 some years later, I just, I love to help people bloom and blossom if they want to, and do it in whatever way kind of fits, but especially playfully, and make mistakes. And I don't know, I'm just grateful because I know what it feels like to feel stuck, and I know what it feels like to feel free, and I know the in-between, and I still go in between those places. But yeah, I give thanks. Barbara McAfee, one of my vocal teachers, Claudia Johnson. It's like, there's all these people that stretched me and then therefore taught me how to sort of be a midwife to other people's stretching. So
yeah, that you nailed it better than I was trying to say. Yes, that's exactly what I feel like you did, was birthing that in the people that you work with. And I saw that in my own experience, and then also with the other students when we had our little showcase. Our show. Yeah.
It's an honor.
Yes. What do you see when so I had Nora on the pod, and we talked about women's circles. And I mean, I feel like, honestly, Holly, I feel like we could have like 5 different podcasts about all the different ways that we use singing, or that you use singing, I should say. But like, how do you see singing together in a group? How is that different? What changes in the room? Why?
Yeah. I mean, children don't mute themselves generally unless they're told. I learn from children all the time about how to be free. And as we grow up, typically something, someone, somewhere tells us to change. You're too loud. Stop moving so much. That's weird. Why are you doing that? Oh, that's a wrong note. Maybe you just shouldn't sing. Like, we could probably, everybody has a reason why they stopped doing something that they wish they would do more of. Singing to me is this thing. We always have it. You don't have to put it in a bag. Like, our voice is always with us, right? And it feels so good to sing. People go to the gym and exercise, like moving energy, right? Getting stronger. Singing is this beautiful way to move energy, to synthesize what we're feeling, to alchemize. Is that a word? It sounds like it. Alchemize all the things that are going on and let it move through us, right? And then to sing together, we feel like we belong to something. And so when I'm in a room, like when we were at your birthday celebration, it was like all these women, all these people who maybe don't, quote, think they're singers or have a good voice. It's like, let's just leave that out the door. Let that go, shelf it, put it in a drawer or whatever. And let's just get back to believing that we can breathe and sing together and we have each other's back. Singing in a group, I think, eliminates the fear of like, I can't sing, but together we can all sing. And then naturally, it's just like all kinds of things happen depending on what you sing. If it's a sad song, an upbeat song, you know, a nostalgic song, it's like it opens these portals back to memories. It helps us dream forward to things we want, or it just helps us settle in the moment. And it literally is medicine for the soul. But I think group singing helps alleviate a lot of the fears that I'm not good enough, my voice isn't good enough, etc. So it's a beautiful thing, just like lots of ways we gather, but singing helps undo a lot of the judgment.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I loved, would you want to play the song that you sang at my birthday?
Oh, yeah. It's a cover song. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I don't think anybody's going to sing.
Farafina Musso is,
Yes.
I don't think she'll mind. So this is a beautiful song by an artist named Lubiana. Would highly recommend finding her. She plays the kora, which traditionally it's an African instrument that women don't play, or do they? But this, I just sort of translated it on a kalimba. Again, shout out to my buddy Yames, who was the kalimba master. But he would have said, girl, you can do it. Just do it. And I also want to mention, because I really believe in calling upon those that have influenced us. This is a kalimba I'm holding from my husband, David Wake, who runs the band De La Buena with his best friend, who's now also amongst the stars, Cecilio Negron Jr. And Silo helped him pick this out for me. So this is very meaningful to me. So this is called Farafina Musso, and I think, I don't know the direct translation, but it's really paying homage to women, specifically African women, but they say we all come from Africa. So it's a beautiful song. If the earth is a woman, if the sea is a woman, if the moon is a woman, I know God is a woman. If you need a woman by your side, a superwoman, if we all need a woman, then shall we respect our women, daughters, sisters, mothers, warriors. Farafina Musso, Farafina Musso, Farafina Musso. You're stronger than you know. Yeah. Ooh, stronger than you know.
So beautiful. I love that song so much.
Yeah, it's a little bit of my version. Thank you, Lubiana. I hope you like it.
And I mentioned full circle when I talked about you being in the schools, but there's also a full circle from what you were saying at the beginning about your dad, and your dad being the one who brought you into music, because I know as he was transitioning to the stars that you were a part of his transition, right? And this is something that you carry with you now into places with folks who are also transitioning. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. When I was 16, my grandmother passed away. And at the time, she was living with my grandpa in West Bend, where they raised their 3 sons, my father and his 2 brothers, the Haebigs. Haebig Cleaners, West Bend, Legacy. I really love being a Haebig because there's a certain juice in Haebigs. And I didn't know it until I got really close with my 2 uncles as we helped my father and come to the end of his life over a couple years. So 16, my grandmother dies. My father is in Kansas and he moves back to move in with his father. Lives with Bob until he can no longer care for him. He moves into a nursing home, as they would call it then. This was before memory care, assisted living. And he visited him every day. And he would then start to do sing-alongs, volunteer to do sing-alongs at Samaritan, I think is where he was. And I just noticed that. And every once in a while I would go and support my dad in these cute little songs from the 40s, 50s, 60s. And it was just felt so good and so natural and easy. And then, my dad had a birthday party, a big, maybe 70th birthday party. And all of a sudden I'm bringing my guitar and leading the group in sing-along. So it just felt like a natural passing off of, or a dance that we would do. We would sing wherever we were. He always had those 3x5 cards. So fast forward to COVID. I had left Express Yourself to sort of get myself sorted out. COVID happened and I thought, wow, I have some time. I'm going to go visit my father every week. I would drive up to West Bend. It was the most beautiful time of my life in a lot of ways. And then I started to notice that he was showing signs of decline, what we would call dementia, etc. And, kept him at home as long as possible. And eventually started our journey in the memory care world. And he went through 4 different transitions, different places. And each one, I would be there showing up with my guitar and we would sing. I would sing for him, or people would watch me and say, hey, are you going to sing for everyone? And eventually, once I felt settled in the community, I would. Why not? We all need music, right? But it was very stressful. It was a very, very overwhelming time. And I realized that the music was a pressure release in a way that I didn't really realize, because I hadn't been doing more memory. When you think of memory care, these folks, their music can go as far back as 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. I mean, there's lots of different musical tastes, but not necessarily the songs that I sing, but I started to build a repertoire based on some of my dad's choices. And then I would just try things like, these boots are made for walking. It's a jam. Okay. I'm going to take these people in a tour bus, but so hundreds and hundreds of hours in different communities. And then I started to realize that there was also financial compensation that was just sitting there for an artist like me. And when my father passed in May of 23, it took me about 6 months to pull myself back together. But then I started to do one-on-one singing sessions with friends in memory care. A couple daughters hired me to work with their beautiful mother who lived with my father at another place. And she would always say, oh, I have lots of guitars. Your dad is so handsome. It was so fun. But yeah, I mean, now one of my favorite things to do on Fridays is I do sing-alongs at various memory care communities around the city, and developing some beautiful relationships there. So, and there again, awakening to the spirit of music, whether these friends know the words or not. I do humming too, or oohing, or because the words, some people know the words. I think that it is a misconception that people with dementia and Alzheimer's just remember everything. They remember all the words. It just comes to them. Maybe some, but I know that there's things happening that we don't understand. And that's why I do the music, and I don't have expectations. I say, you can nap, you can tap, you can snap, do what you feel.
Yeah.
But I know that the music is the medicine, whether they remember the songs or not. I don't put any pressure. I just keep showing up.
And it is so joyful. I've had the honor and and privilege of going with you a couple times, and just to see. I mean, sometimes their faces light up, like you say. Sometimes they're napping. The first time I went, you had these songbooks, and so I spent most of the time turning the pages because they were just consistently on the wrong page.
Right.
But they were singing anyway. Like it didn't. Yeah, it didn't. They didn't need the words.
Well, right. And since then, I have stopped bringing the books.
Mm.
And the books were inspired by my friend Nancy, who I've been seeing every Friday that I can for 2 years. But I put Nancy's playlist together, her song list, made a book, and then we performed for her community. That's another little niche I've created, is like work with an individual, create a song book, and then we kind of perform, but it's not a performance, singing with community. I just did one at St. Rita's. But yeah, the books get in their way, generally speaking. I think if it was assisted living with friends that are on a little bit of a different cognitive level, they might appreciate that. But reading definitely does change after a while. So.
And what have you found in terms of their response? And when you're singing up there, when you look out, what do you feel in terms of connection?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times I'll walk in and they're watching TV and they're comfortable. I'm not saying they always watch TV. Some places are really good at engaging, but the timing that I have, it's like chill time. And then I get there right before lunch in particular, unless it's like a proper concert. But this is more casual, right? Because especially my friend Nancy, who I see every week, her and I singing, here's something interesting. Her and I singing is okay. But really what lights her up, what ignites her spirit, I can tell, is when we're in circle with other people. And this is the same for my children. It's like when we have too much one-on-one, it's like we need other people to help reignite our spirits, right? Something, that energy to bounce off of. So when I go see my friends, it's like I just invite whoever wants to come to sit in our circle. And what I see happen is eye contact, moving bodies side to side, singing. And I try to really mix it up a little bit. I get a little silly. I don't ask too much of people besides the singing. I might ask, like, anyone in here ever play an instrument? But what I see is energy up, right? Energy up, posture, maybe from slouching to maybe a little bit taller, but a lot of gratitude. And yes, they're saying thank you to me, but I feel like I literally am a vessel for the songs, the spirit of songs, the music that will never end, the songs that will exist forever. It's like we're just rebirthing that energy. And it's the gratitude and the smiles, and they're happy,
Which is not dissimilar from a women's circle or
right.
singing in schools or with kids when we're in a group. I'm thinking about having done a sound bath recently, and she was talking about how the vibrations and the waves travel, and then they get, I don't know what the word is. I'm sure there's a word when they come together and they are working in a wave together finally. And I feel like maybe that's what it is us just coming together and connecting through song and those.
Yeah, there are lots of beautiful words that could describe what we're talking about. There's probably some really cool scientific. Yeah. I don't know. It's a feeling of togetherness and oneness and beauty and fun, man. Joy. Joy.
Yes. Actually, now I'm remembering two words that I just heard from Kellner. Is that his name? Dr. Kellner. He's out in Berkeley. He's a researcher, and he wrote a book on awe and the things that bring us awe. And I think nature, which people would think was number one, I think he put that as actually number 3, if I'm remembering this right. And somebody termed something called collective effervescence, which is just like, maybe that's what we're talking about. Is this it. Like we're in community, we're gathering, we're together, and it just, there's something elevated. It's joy that comes with music.
And participation, I've always been a fan of participation, getting people to participate in some way at some moment. Collective effervescence.
Isn't that lovely?
It is.
More of that. I guess where I might want to just think about closing this song of a conversation is if people are listening to this and they want more music in their life. They want more connection through music. They want more collective effervescence. What do you advise? What is your, where can they find it? Maybe there's something a ritual that they could even do with their own people tonight at the dinner table, or what do you recommend for people who want more?
So I would encourage people to sing more, period. If it's in the shower, if it's in the car, that's a great first step. There are also, like, song circles are really, really, it's the time of song circles. There are song circles in Milwaukee, all over the country. It's like people are really feeling the need to sing together and find that collective effervescence. Or just playing more music around the house. Like this, our house always has music going, and now our kids will never not sing. But I think we're so hard on ourselves to be a certain way or sound a certain way. And a lot of the vocal students that I work with come in just wanting to be a little bit louder, or come out of the shell a little bit. And I mean, find somebody. If you're one of the people who are like, oh, I want to be heard more and seen more, it's like, keep finding the people that you feel safe around and that validate that kind of person that you are, for one. That helps a lot.
Well, it's interesting that you say, or what you said made me think about how when we worked together as teacher and student, and it was about singing, but actually it was about more than that. Yes, we had several sessions together where we sung, and you helped me breathe, we did breathing exercises, and I was able to sing louder and, use music. But I actually took more of what you said into the rest of my life and my voice, just my voice in general, using my voice, that the metaphor of the voice as just who I am in this world, and that confidence that started with singing and started with song and music. But then, that is what I think also this music can do for us.
Yes, I think that for me, music and my journey from childhood on, and doing this musical dance with all of my friends and mentors that I have mentioned, they made a safe space for me and gave me permission to explore more freely and deeply and joyfully who I really am. Because I know I'm here to sing. 20 years ago, I know I liked to sing, but I know I'm here to sing. And I'm not here to wow people. I'm not here to show off and be the best singer. I know that if I don't sing for a couple days, I start to feel down and lost a little bit, get a little agitated. And there's two things mainly that help me shift that. It's dancing, and I know we share love of that, and it's singing. And there are times when I get so anxious about something and I cannot catch my breath, but I can sing. And you can't sing if you don't breathe. And so it's like this beautiful back door to regulating the self too. So again, for me, there's lots and lots of ways to manage oneself in this very disruptive, dysregulating world. I'm a fan of the world, but it's extremely dysregulating. It's loud, it's fast, there's too much going on. And so I also think that's, music is a way to simplify. So, yeah, singing is how I've found the permission to be more truly who I am and find the freedom to be who I truly am. And so if people are drawn through song and singing and music, just keep going, man. Make the time. Make the time, even a little bit at a time, I think really is effective. I will notice that nobody in my family needs me. I am a mother of 3. There's a lot going on, plus 2 cats. So it would be where nobody needed me. And I would sort of scurry off and grab my guitar, 5 to 10 minutes of just simplifying, breathing, singing, shifted like the whole day. So quality over quantity. I'm a big fan of that.
Oh, I love this so much. Do you want to take us out on one more song? Do you have one that you wanted to play?
I haven't written a song in a while, although I was really, really honored to share a song at the celebration of life of a dear, dear human being, Kesha. And I put a poem of hers to music. That's one of the ways that I create songwriting. I love to cover other people's songs. I also love to write my own music, but it's harder,
Mm-hmm.
Unless you go on a walk with a great friend. You and I have been on great walks. And I went by the river with my dear friend, Nora.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I got home, the song just pushed its way into me, through me, and I caught it. So this is a debut. The only person I've shared this with is Nora. Yay. It's called Life is Good. Walking on the path with you, talking on the path with you, sharing what we think is true, letting go, moving through, oh yeah. Life is good with you by my side. It's gonna be all good. Got nothing but time, so much on our minds. River flowing on one side, golden leaves surround us, and the cares we brought along dissolve into this song as I go walking on the path with you, talking on the path with you, sharing what we feel is true, letting go, moving through, oh yeah. Life is good with you by my side. It's gonna be all good. We are free, so you be you, I'll be me. Only the ducks gon' judge us, but they don't give a damn. They just kick their little feet, swim around, so sweet as we go dancing on the path of life, singing by the riverside, laying on the big old tree, making up sweet harmonies, oh yeah. Life is good with you by my side. It's gonna be all good. Our shadow side came along, and we welcomed her with loving arms. The best way to grow is to let all the colors show, like how fall never hides the beauty and the decay that resides. Walking on the path with you, talking on the path with you, sharing what we think is true, knowing what we're meant to do, oh yeah. Life is good with you by my side. It's gonna be all good, yeah, with you by my side. Life is good. Isn't that fun?
Wow. OMG. You heard it here first, people. That was awesome.
No, you like it?
I love it.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
It was so fun to write.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like, yeah, it was so fun to write. It was so fun to write.
Yeah.
It was easy, and it's a gift, and I'm grateful.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
And there's sing-along potential.
Yes.
Couldn't you?
Yes.
You could pick it up. You could pick it up.
Yes.
It's all good. Because not that I write for that reason, but opportunities
Yeah.
to sing along.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Holly. Thank you for inviting me into your house to record. And thank you for being on the pod.
I have 2 words. Keep singing. Don't be afraid. Keep singing. Walking.
I love that song so much. I just have to play it in the background of this outro because it's so catchy. I have been humming it ever since I heard it. Thank you, Holly, for this beautiful interview. You know, I'm grateful for people like Holly and friends like Holly, and I hope you have a Holly in your life too. Those people that, oh, what is that quote from Maya Angelou that said something like, people will forget what you said, they'll forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And Holly is one of those people that when you're in her orbit just makes you feel loved. And for her, that music and song is her love language. And I hope that this conversation has inspired you to think about how maybe you might be able to use music more in your life. How could you bring music into the things that you do with your people? Even if you don't consider yourself a musician or can't play an instrument, that's okay. We all have our breath, we all have our voice, we all have a heartbeat, and therefore we all have our own rhythm. We can all put music into this world. So if that means you turn on the radio a little louder in the car next time you're driving around and belt it out at the top of your lungs, do it. If it means inviting song into your next gathering or a lullaby that comes at night, whatever that means for you, I hope this episode has inspired you to see music as another language that can spread the love and the joy and the connection and reminds you that, like the song says, life is good. I'll put links on how you can get a hold of Holly if you'd like to let her know how this episode touched your heart, how her music made you feel, or if you're interested in working with Holly. I will be back next week with another episode of Gather, Connect, Create. Remember, with all these episodes, this is a practice, and we're not aiming for perfection here. With this practice, we're just aiming to get better at it, to do it more often in community, together. All right, friends. Thank you for listening, and thank you to Holly for reminding us that life is indeed good. Thanks, friends.
Walking on the path with you, talking on the path with you, sharing what we think is true, knowing what we're meant to do. Oh yeah, life is good with you by my side. It's gonna be all good, yeah, with you by my side. Life is